Hello, everybody. Happy Kindred Stamps Throwback Week. Oh my goodness, I think my mic is not fully working today. That's okay. We got my computer audio going. We had a little bit of a flub that my magic mouse stopped working right before my live. So that is okay. So we're going to go ahead and get that charged so we don't have problems later on. But hello, my Kindred Stamps friends. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Thursday. I know we've got a couple friends watching, so if you are in the chat, drop a quick comment just to say hello so that I see you there. And oh my goodness, it has been a little bit of a different week, hasn't it? Usually you guys are waiting for something new products coming out, and we kind of threw everyone through a loophole this week. And we've got some fun throwbacks going on. I have had so much fun with Throwback Week. And I think that our design team has really, as I'm multitasking and putting some stuff away, really done a fantastic job in showcasing some of our favorite older sets. And so I kind of want to talk a little bit about what our idea was with Throwback Week. I was talking with Audra, and we thought it would be really fun to highlight some sets that could use some love in terms of just fresh inspiration. We love them so much. We want to see what our new design team members and of course we've got some design team members that have been with us for a long time, what they would be able to come up with, and they really hit it out of the park. I am so excited with what everybody has come up with, and I've got a special announcement about Throwback Week that you're going to have to wait and see at the end of tonight's live. Hello, Barbara. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. So thanks for being here, friend. So stay tuned. We've got some fun throwback details coming this week, and I'm doing some throwback crafting tonight with the Here We Go stamp set, which is a favorite of mine that I've only used one time before, and I actually used it during a live stream. We made a wedding card using the bride image, and today's all going to be about the mom, because the mom is my favorite character from this stamp set. I also love her friends, but I didn't have enough time to get all of them colored up, but that could be a really fun card as well, and I actually have an idea with not too much coloring that we could do something with that, but maybe for a future card. What do you think? So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. So we're going to do a little bit of crafting tonight. I'm going to get a piece of paper ready for my coloring, because we're going to start with some coloring first. And then I have an idea for a card that is not super complicated. It's kind of easy in concept. But I think it's something fun and approachable. So let's go ahead. Let's switch this down to my overhead camera. There we go. And I have my images stamped out. And actually what you can see is I have two images stamped out. And that's because I recently acquired a new ink that somebody had recommended to me. I wasn't a huge fan of it, and I stamped it out in that first. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys, like, there are differences amongst inks, even though they might be advertised as like, hey, this is an alcohol marker friendly ink. They're not created equally, and you've really kind of got to test out what you want. So as we look at this a little bit closer, if you can notice, the impression that's by my right thumb over here is a little bit darker, and the one over here is that really gets a little bit more detail, and I like the detail, especially with working with our Kindred stamp images. I do have the product I use for my stamping, what I do for my alcohol marker blending. It is linked in the description below, so if you are so inclined to check that out, I encourage you to do so. So let's go in. Let's start with a little bit of coloring using my Copic markers. I still use my Copics predominantly for my Kindred Stamps human images, but I've also been playing around with Olo markers as well. And I really love using them too, but I've just found that when it comes to hairs and flesh tones, I'm just a little bit more comfortable using Copics for that right now, but that could always change in the future. All right, so we're going in and we're adding this along the hairline. I feel like this marker is being a little stubborn. I don't know why that would be. Let's see. Maybe I'm just not doing great with coloring, and that's also okay. So we're going to go in and just add this. We're using our standard skin tone blend, which is starting with E04 for our shadow. And then we're going to go in as well and do our E11, E21, E00, and E000 as well. We'll add some blush. The huge. If you've been around, you know how this goes. So I'm just going to kind of go in. She's also got like these capri denim overalls that she's wearing. So I'm making sure to color her ankles. And there we go. All right. So now we're going to go in and let's do our next color, which is going to be that E11, which is Barley Beige. Barley. Not Barely. I used to think it was Barely Beige. I'm looking right here, realizing I didn't get that ear. That's okay. We'll get it later. I'm also realizing there's an earring that I don't really know what the color of the earring is. So we're just going to kind of go with the flow. Maybe it'll be a little pop of gold. All right, so just kind of go around, extend out anywhere that there's a shadow, and just kind of keep going, just like that. All right, perfect. And then let's see, let's bring this out just a tad, just a tad. And then next we're going to move on to some E21, which is Soft Sun. Let's see, I should have used a little bit of lotion on my hands too before we started, but that's a-okay. Y'all, it has been just a little bit of a day. Weekday lives can sometimes be a little bit more of a struggle for me depending on what the workday looked like. I always make it through. Rarely have I had to cancel. I know that there was a live earlier this summer I had to cancel because we had a power outage and it was just sort of beyond my control that day. And I think we rescheduled very soon after. But usually I'm pretty good with never having to do that. But for some reason, some work days just make it a little bit more difficult. And today on top of it, I had a haircut right after work. And I'm like, you know what? We can still stick with my usual time of our Kindred lives doing a 6 p.m. Central Time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific. But I did kind of have to rush just a tinge. And then, of course, I want to like ease into getting ready. I did a lot of my prep work yesterday, which is honestly my key to success with tonight. I don't know if you noticed, but I had all of our products for today's live stream listed either this morning or last night. I had them ready to go last night because I had basically everything pulled. Some modifications, but nothing too crazy. All right, so we're going to go in, finish off with our last color of E000. Just sort of add that in. I did stamp out my images last night, so they have a lot of time to sort of sit and dry with the ink, so I shouldn't have to deal with any smearing. I'm hoping at least. Perfect. All right, I'm just going to go in like that. I think my markers are very much due for a spa day someday soon. Stay tuned, friends. All right. Let's see. Can I try my bullet nib? I usually don't use my bullet nib on this one, but I do have one. So I'm just going to kind of go in, just go around that hairline with my bullet nib because it gets that detail in there. Just like that. Okay. And then like there. And there. Yeah, that one got a little bit on her chin, but that's okay. I think I like the brush a little bit more. I don't use the bullet nib that much, but here we go. That was just the name of the set. How appropriate. So, anyways, I'm just going to kind of keep going. Now, if anyone has any questions along the way, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm trying my best to get everything nice and answered. All right, just going to keep going. Now, my last live stream was, of course, earlier this month, and I was so very lucky that Audra was in town, and we made cards together using the popsicle dies. Cartoon popsicle dies, and I had so much fun with that. We actually ended up using those cards as some inspiration for the expo that we were at that weekend. Audra had a booth all weekend. I was only there on Saturday. That's a-okay because I had work on Friday, and Audra had a fantastic time, of course. We got to see many fans. We did our play date in Schaumburg, which is always fun. We did fun trivia. It was really kind of funny because we were like, we want to do something fun. So we pulled out some trivia that I had prepared from another event. And we did that. And people were a little surprised how difficult I made Kindred Stamps trivia. Man, that's okay.
I kind of had to pull in like a lot of information that you had to know in order to get the right answers. But that just makes it fun and challenging, I suppose. At least for me as the host. People who are actually participating might think differently. All right, so we're going in. I'm getting there, and I'm realizing already that I don't have my detail scissors, which I'll need in a little bit, but we're not going to rush it. Don't need them until I'm done coloring this image. Let's go in with some R22 to start to add in her blush. I always kind of waffle between the colors I use for my blush blends. Sometimes I like to keep it light and I do R21. And then other times I like to go darker and bolder and I go R22. But I always blend it out with some R20. It's just like that. So blend it. Just get some nice rosy cheeks. I'm in an R22 phase right now, which means I like seeing those bold cheeks with nice bright blush. And then we're going to blend everything out using some E000. Now, I don't know what it is about markers, and I haven't done it yet, but I feel like the markers that have the most likelihood to make your images smear is the ones that have the most amount of zeros. The lighter the marker, I feel like the increased probability that it's going to make something smear. And I don't 100% know the exact reason why that is, but it might have something to do with like how much it's been like diluted by just the zero alcohol that's part of it. But who knows? Who knows? I don't for sure. I can only anticipate and assume. So now let's work on her hair. We're going to start with some E47. And she's kind of got some curly hair. And I'm trying to figure out, she obviously has a part. And I always say, start with the part and then figure it all else out. So we're just going to go in like that. So we're going to make her little part of hair. Just like this. Perfect. And let's see. I think we're going to make that little wave right there. And I'm just going to kind of keep building it out. And then let's see. That might be kind of close to it. Let's do a little bit down here. Kind of keep up with this wavy hair she's got going on. We're doing okay. All right, it's just like that. All right, I think we need to make a couple more parts, just like that, just to kind of give her hair a little bit more waviness. And it's all going to come through later and just make her hair look really textured because it does just have that wavy quality to it. And it does require some more detail and a little bit more time, but it does all come together in the end. All right, so just like that. And then we got to work on the bottom part of her hair. Hello, Evelyn. Thanks for being here. Sorry if I left you on red for a little while. All right, so just like that. Now, who's calling me? I've been getting so many spam calls. Potential spam, of course. So many spam calls lately. I tell you, you guys, it drives me kind of nuts. They're like all from the same number. No, okay, that sounds like I maybe should answer if they're all from the same number, but they all have like the same area code, which is like, just why? I don't know. So many. And I don't know when smartphones came out with the capability to like label an inbound call as potential spam, but I feel like just one day all of a sudden I started getting all these calls that said potential spam. I don't know. Just my 2 cents. And awesome. Okay. That is pretty good, and it'll come together. We've just got to kind of keep adding to it. So our next color is going to be E44, which is clay, and she's got blonde hair, so I'm just kind of bringing it out, working with it. Like I said, it is going to take us a little bit of time, but we've got some time tonight, right? And if you don't, you can always catch a replay, but I hope you stay here. Hello, Airman. You're so sweet. Thanks for being here. Hope you all are having just a wonderful evening today. Now, Here We Go is also going to be considered part of our Throwback Week. Now, what exactly has Throwback Week been? So, as you can see in the fan club, we have been sharing sneak peeks all week of some of our fresh inspiration using some of our well-loved sets. So not newer sets, sets that have been around for just a little bit of time. And we are having our design team come up with some fresh ideas. So you might not have seen all of them yet because we're treating this just like a regular release where our design team was given the same sort of premise or prompts that we give them when we are doing our regular release projects. And so you're going to see each of our designers were assigned their own individual set. There's no overflow or overlap with sets. Everyone was assigned their very own, and everyone made multiple pieces of inspiration using that set. So I think that's pretty cool. We haven't done something like this before. And of course, it doesn't mean that our release pattern is changing. We just don't have a brand new release this month. I know that there's a new release coming next month, of course. I've already seen some of the artwork. I'm always excited, and I know you guys are too. But how about I'll share my first little bit of kind of exclusive information that you guys are going to be the first ones to hear about. For our Throwback Week, we are doing, and I don't think it's our first one ever. I'm sure we've done them before, but it has been a hot minute. And it has been such a hot minute that I don't know when the last one was. But we're doing an Instagram hop to celebrate the new release tomorrow. So many of our designers are participating in tomorrow's Instagram hop. And if you guys find the designers, hop along and follow the instructions. We're going to be giving away 2 $25 gift certificates to the Kindred Stamps website. So make sure to hop along with us and for a chance to win. Like I said, that hop is going to go live starting tomorrow. And then I think it's going to go the same time as the release. So it's going to be 8 p.m. Pacific time. And then I think entries are open for a week, I believe is what we had talked about. So that's going to be super fun. And like I said, usually we like to keep those things a little bit of a surprise for you guys, but I always like to drop exclusives here because my live viewers are some of my favorite viewers and people to interact with. So just a little extra treat for you guys being here. Just like when we did our live previously this month, Audra and I were able to let everybody know about our Halloween advent calendar. Now those did cease their sale, so pre-orders are done on the advent calendar, so they're not available anymore. If you missed out, I am so sorry. There might be some extra pieces available after Audra packs everything up and gets it sent out. That's never a guarantee, though, just because we can't plan for that necessarily with a set number, so we won't know after what that'll look like. All right, so we've got that part of her hair done. Let's do a little bit of yellow using Y00. Oh, you're so sweet, Barbara. You're very welcome. So yes, so I always like to give you guys just a little bit of extra special heads up with things if I can, Because why not? You guys are here, we're spending time together, we all love Kindred. Why not do a couple spoilers, I'm really excited though. So I know we were talking no new release this month, and I think next month is when it's going to come out. I was talking with Audra, and we kind of came up with a stamp set idea that I had been wanting for some time, so it's not on like a new concept. And I think it's fitting in perfectly with next month's release, and it's very appropriate to the time of year that we're entering. I'm excited to see people's reaction for the set because I think it's going to be really fun. Also, too, I always like to joke that whenever sets get bigger and bigger, specifically whenever you see a 6x8, usually it means Justin's had his hand in something and asked for more characters. But for this one, when I had initially requested it, I thought we were going to kind of go on the smaller end. And when Audra finally got like artwork and whatnot situated for it, it ended up being larger than I thought it was going to be originally. So I was like really, really happy to see that because I definitely think it's a set that warrants it. But I didn't know it for you never know what's going to turn out. So we're going back in with my hair and we're just adding in some texture. Going in, now we're going from light to dark. And just going to kind of go in and add that. I know I'm being very vague. I'm not trying to sit here and vague book. I just, I can't give all the details. But y'all can always hold me accountable. And if there's at any point in the future, after the product has come out, that you want to like ask me, I will let you know whatever I can at that point. I can usually tell you a little bit more, or a chunk more even, about what I was talking about. All right, so just gonna go in. Gonna keep going. I tell you though, in the world of pop culture, this week's been a little rough. So I don't know about y'all, but I have been a little extra sad this week, a lot more than usual. And I know seen so many people sharing sentiments of who we've lost this week over the internet, and my goodness, some people are just national treasures and so very special, and it's been an interesting week, and especially when you lose multiple iconic big people in such a short period of time, or in this case the same day even. It's hard. It's really hard. And I saw somebody post online, I'm sorry to get heavy for a moment, I won't do this for too long, but I'm imagining there's at least one person watching, if not more, that knows what I'm talking about and is going through the thoughts and emotions of it too. But I saw someone post about how special it is to leave the world a more sparklier and brighter place than how you found it, and have so many people who never even met you like love you so much. And it's so true. So I'm trying to add a little extra ambition to my days, remember those not with us, and try to carry that kindness and laughter out into the world, because I think it's important. So, all right, I will stop with the sappy, sad, reflective stuff. Just thought I'd share it with other fandom lovers out there. And y'all are my favorite fandom lovers. All of us Kindred folk have such a fond feeling for our fandoms. All right, so got this. Let's go and finish this up with some E47. Ugh, already been live for almost a half hour and I just have her head almost done. My goodness. It's all right. I feel like the last marker is really the one that adds most of the detail that you can notice. So we're just kind of going in, getting that taken care of. Keep on going there. So loved, so beyond loved, Barbara, right? Like just such a special person. So let's kind of keep on going. Such is life, though, I guess. Just sad to hear when people are going through a lot of stuff. They want to keep their private lives private because that's their right to, especially people who share so much of themselves publicly. But anyways. All right. Wonderful. Okay, I think that's enough for her hair. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. It looks pretty blonde to me. All right, let's go in next. I'm going to make that a gold earring that she's got. So we're going to go with some Y28. And then hopefully the rest of this is pretty easy. So we're going to go with some Y28 and then also Y26. Just like that. All right, next, let's do her overalls. So we're going to start with B99. Just kind of go around and down. Just like that. And around her hand. Awesome. And let's do B97. Just kind of keep going. All right, just like this. Now the card that we're going to put her on, honestly, I'm keeping it really simple. And honestly, part of me is like, is it a little too simple? It's going to work. But we're going to have fun with using like a little bit of a modified card design so that it has a little bit of like extra thought and care put into it. And I'm really going to utilize the fact that this character is leaning because we're going to do some like wall effect work with it. So I'll show you what that means when we get to it. All right, so just going to go in and down like this. Just like that. And then B93. Okay, we're getting towards the end because her shirt's only going to get colored up once. And then B91. And I'm kind of going with like Mediterranean Greek vibes for this card because, of course, if you're familiar with this stamp set, you know that's the appropriate sort of setting to go with. So we're leaning into those whites and those blues and kind of thinking of like Grecian coastlines and Santorini and playing around with those expected details. All right, can keep going. Perfect. Now, I do have the products listed in the description that we're using tonight. Being transparent, because we have not gotten to this part yet, the stencil that's listed is incorrect. I didn't have a chance to fix it, and that's because I'm going to be using the Distressed Brick stencil, and we actually don't have it in the store right now, but it's coming. And Audra gave me her blessing that I could use it today because it fits into this card design better. But you can utilize any sort of blocky stencil that you may have. I was going to use the Weave stencil. There was another stencil but it's out of stock. I forget what it was on the website. Where I'm like, oh, I could do that one, but it was a no-go. It was listed, but not in stock. So I was like, we won't do that. I'm just kind of forgetting which one it was. But it was one that I'm like, oh, that could work. Which one? Now I'm curious. Which one was I thinking? It was, let's grab my phone. See if I can figure it out. It was... See, these are things that you guys shouldn't have to see as me searching on my phone. But also, too, I used to do my live streams on my cell phone, so I never could do this. The fact that I'm doing this right now is, to me, pretty great. But anyways, I was going to use... Oh, it was the Moroccan tile stencil. That's what it was. Even though it wasn't like 100% appropriate in terms of setting, I still thought it would be appropriate because it was like a very descriptive tile look. And you know what? We're not like crossing cultures, but Morocco is on the Mediterranean Ocean, I think, or Mediterranean Sea. It's a sea, not an ocean. So like some sort of adjacency is present. That's not entirely there, but I think that we could have played around with those colors. So, all right, so we've got that. Let's go in with some cool gray markers and do her white shirt. Of course I got this. Absolutely, Airman. All right. But yes, that's not me saying that like Greece and Morocco are the same place. Absolutely not. But I was just like, you know what? We could utilize this design and run with it and not have to like really think too hard about like how like closely it works. So, anyways, we're not doing that tonight. We're playing with the distressed brick look. That is just what it is. But you can always play with what you have on hand and kind of customize it to your vibe and what you're feeling, you know? Stencils like that, like the Morocco stencil, like color-wise and the design of the stencil, you can choose where you want certain colors to be, and it's easy to sort of block colors and mask off parts of that stencil. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we've got that. I'm kind of putting my markers away as I'm going, just because, I guess, why not if it's all here? I don't know. I like to kind of keep things during my live streams on the tidier side, just because it makes my life easier. And now she's got these little tan shoes we're going to finish out with. We're going to do some E34 and blend it out with some E30. Just like this. We're going to keep this color light. So I don't want there to be too much of a boldness. And there we go. And I didn't want it to look like the same color as her feet, because it's kind of similar to her skin tone. Now I do see that I've got my scissors, and I'm going to grab these, and we're going to just kind of fussy cut this out. Just like that. She is adorable. Thank you, Evelyn. I think so. Just kind of playing around with these hair colors and her texture of her hair. I like it. Well, can you guys believe, as we're cutting this out, I cannot believe that we are so rapidly coming across Labor Day. And a lot of people consider Labor Day kind of like the end of summer, which I see some of that. Like, I see how that makes sense, because by Labor Day, usually all the kids are done with summer vacation, we'll say. Because I know that there are some children that, like, in some areas of, oh my gosh, Airman, you're so sweet. In some areas of the country or even of the world, kids don't go back to school until September. I feel like nowadays, though, a lot of kids are going back like earlier and earlier. And don't get mad at me. So my teacher friends who are watching, this is nothing directly against you, but I'm always like, I say send them back. And maybe there's a little bit of jealousy, because I would love a summer vacation. Let me tell you, like 2 months off to just kind of relax. I know kids get more. Teachers get, like, I would say about 2 months, because they've got to kind of end things early to get their classrooms set up. So, but anyways, I can't believe we are so quickly coming upon the end of the season. Summer kind of always flies by for me, and I don't know about you guys. I always feel like summer is such a like busy period of the year. I feel like summer and the holiday season are the ones that really kind of fly by, but summer's got some length to it. And I feel like summer opens itself up to like a full 3 months of activity between Memorial Day and Labor Day, where I feel like with the holidays, it's more of like a 1 month period of, it's like Thanksgiving through New Year's, and then you're kind of at an end with it. But hey, I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for fall crafting. I have gotten, I love fall products. I think it is definitely my favorite season to craft for. Then it's the holidays for like Christmas and whatnot. All right, let's just kind of trim this carefully. I'm going to have to kind of do a little bit of color work with her too, because I'm noticing I missed a little area of her jeans. And Airman, being able to learn to fussy cut from watching me, you are so sweet. I know that like a lot of us love our coordinating dies, but I know we don't have too many coordinating dies with Kindred. And Kindred's really allowed me to love the process of fussy cutting as much as I can. And it's always easy for me when we're doing a live and it's just one character. Like, you can't really get too mad about doing one image. But when you're doing a whole bunch, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. That's when it might be time to break out the scan and cut, let me tell you. All right, so we've got this character. Now let's talk about what we're doing for our card. And it's honestly gonna be pretty easy. So for our card, I want to make a brick wall, but I want to have her leaning against it. Hold on one second. And so what I've got is a card base, and I have a piece of, this is fog cardstock. You can see as I hold this, it's a little darker than white, and that's just because I want to make sure that it's going to blend differently, that you're going to notice a difference. But what I want to do first is I want to measure how wide this image is, because that's going to affect what I'm cutting next. And she is, with her hair, she is about 1.5 inches. So I think I want to do 1.75 inches is what I want to trim off this. So this is an A2 sized card. And what I want to do is on this panel, I'm going to trim 1.75 inches. So that would be for 2.5 plus 1.75. I think that's right. 2.5 plus 1.75 is 4.75. 4.25. That's what I want. So we're going to go in. Let's see. We're going to take this side and I'm going to cut it right here like that. And now what we have is we've got a modified card base. And what I want to do is I want to have her kind of leaning right here. I could even have her like really there if I wanted to, but I don't want her overlapping it too much. But I want her over here. And then I'm going to have her like leaning against this wall, but we're going to blend this a color. And I want to make this a brick wall. So let's go in and do this first. And what I'm going to do is I want to blend directly onto this. Don't really know how this is going to blend, so this is going to be new for both of us. So I'm going to take my glass mat and I am going to put down my tape on the line to mask off. And we're going to have to take this down on me. So what I want to do is I want to leave 1.75 inches of width exposed so that I can ink blend just that exposed portion. Oh, Alexa's in full Halloween crafting mode. I love that. Go you. I want to be in full Halloween crafting mode. I could be in full Halloween crafting mode year round, Alexa. I always see, this is the thing, is we've talked about this before, and then I say your name and then I remember what exists in my household. And I'm like, uh-oh. So, has not said anything yet. But thanks for being here, Alexa. I appreciate you. You make some fantastic cards. I see what you share in the fan club, and I always love your interpretations of things. So we're going to just kind of mask this off the best that we can. Trying to get a nice straight line. Let's see. All right, just like that. And then I think I'm going to add another piece just for extra protection. Just like that. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take some Mermaid Lagoon and we are going to just blend down. The house down boots. You are more than welcome, friend. So I'm just going to kind of go in and just kind of go from the top down over here. And like I said, my card base material, I'm not overly confident with how well it's going to blend. So there might be a little bit of like splotchiness to it because it's not my go-to blending cardstock. But I'm like, we're just going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to blend and see how this goes. I want it to be darker on the top than towards the bottom. And of course, we've got a little bit of a area that smudges, but it happens. Just kind of going in, blending it down. Just like that. Just kind of keep blending. Like I said, I want to get the top nice and dark. and have it ombre down to a nice light blue. And this is Mermaid Lagoon Distress Ink. We're playing with Distress Inks today. That was my choice. Just thought it would work nicely. All right, so we've got that. I think that's pretty good. Now, when I put her into place, is she going to cover this? No. Oh, no. Oh, phooey. Well, that wasn't the plan. What are we going to do? Now, what I could do... we could add some embellishment. I don't know what happened. Y'all, I have a little bit of a smudge on my project, but we're going to deal with it. We will be okay. We'll add a couple sequins just to sort of blend it out, and we're going to be good. All right. I don't know what happened there. Let's grab my craft towel, do a little bit of cleanup. Don't know where my spray bottle went, but that's okay. Let's do a peel reveal. We got a nice clean line. That'll work. We'll make it work. All right, so I'm going to put this off to the side for now with our image. And then let's sort of clean this up. Just like that. All right. And if you guys haven't all yet, make sure to like this video and also subscribe to the Kindred Stamps YouTube channel. Our design team does have videos that come out for inspiration with some of our newer and older well-loved sets. So by staying on board with that, you will see all that new inspiration. So we encourage you to do that. What we're going to do next is I'm going to take this panel and also trim it down so that it will fit on the opposite side. We'll make a brick wall out of it. So we're going to trim this on where it's at the 1 3/4 inch mark, like that. And then this should fit really nicely on here, just like that. And we're gonna blend a wall. Oh, it's gonna be cute. I already see it. I gotta grab my Distress Brick stencil. Just gonna be in this binder. Let's get this. Kindred Stamps Stencil. Oh, this is not my Kindred Stamps binder. I thought it was. I'm reading incorrectly. They're out of order. That's what it is. All right. So let's go in and let's see. Ooh, these are some oldies but goodies. So it's the brick, Distress Brick. So it's under D. Better be easily accessible. It is. Yay. All right, so we've got our Distress Brick stencil. And then let's go in. What side am I going to use? I'll use this side. And I will tack this down with some knit tape that I probably shouldn't have tossed, but that's okay. All right. So let's sort of tack it down the best that we can. And I'll add a couple more pieces, just like this. All right, and that should do an okay job holding things in place where they need to be. Fingers crossed. We're going to do it that way. Okay, now for this, we're going to use 2 gray inks. Oh, and thank you, Evelyn. It's an older binder. It's an old Tim Holtz binder, and it's supposed to actually hold stamp sets, but it holds stencils really nicely. It's since been retired, but I will not part with it because I love it too much. So what we're going to do with this stencil is we're going to go in first with some Lost Shadow. Just kind of go over this fog cardstock, and now I am looking and noticing that I think there's a little bit residual gray, and that's why it's a little on the darker side, but that's okay. We're going to work with it, and it's going to look amazing. I promise. Just kind of blend this nicely the best we can. Probably, this is a good stencil to use pixie spray with. And I probably should have done that, and I didn't, and that's okay. Alright, so we've got that. Now let's go in with a little bit of hickory smoke just to darken it up. And I'm going to use a smaller blending brush on this one because I don't need as much. Just sort of add a little bit of shading to our stencil area. There we go. Just like that. And this just gives a nice distress quality to these bricks. Just like that. And there we have it. We've got our little distress brick wall, and it's pretty decent. I love that it's like varied where it's like darker and lighter gray. Now I was going for a little bit more of like a white vibe because I feel like white buildings are very prominent in Greece, and that was my initial thought, but I'm like, you know what? I think this is the best that we're gonna do, and we're gonna just roll with it. So I'm gonna go ahead. I want to put it like right there. That's my thought. But we want to do a little bit of stamping with it. And I wanted to do the sentiment that reads, we're going to do another birthday. Here we go again. So let's do that. And I'm going to get my MISTI out. Oh, and I'm going to need a couple items. So I'm going to do some shopping on my desk in a second. Let's see. Let's put that, and then put this kind of in the center, maybe a little north of center. Just like that, maybe a little bit over. Just being picky. All right, and then I've got to grab a couple things. I've got to grab my, whatchamacallit, my anti-static tool for certain. And I should have over here some clear embossing powder, but now I'm not finding it. Oh my goodness, maybe I didn't grab it yesterday. So we're going to grab my clear embossing powder for our sentiment. Now what we're going to do is add our anti-static right here. All right. And then I'm going to take some Nocturne pigment ink and stamp out our sentiment. Do it a couple times. And then let's go ahead and do some heat embossing using our clear embossing powder. This is Kindred's clear embossing powder, of course. I think that might be a new jar now that I think of it. Oh well. Can never have too much clear or white embossing powder, in my opinion. There we go. Let's go ahead and clean that up. Put that away for another day. And then what are we going to do next? We're going to do some heat setting. All right, so let me grab my heat gun. We'll get that nice and set. This will take just a couple seconds. All right, and then I think because we're working with brick, we should also do a little bit of splattering. I don't know. So let's do some hickory smoke and a little bit of water. Hickory smoke's definitely got some red to it, which is very interesting. I'm going to pick that up and just sort of splatter. don't know why. Hickory Smoke must be a very warm gray because it's very interesting to see the red come out with the water added. But you know me. You know I like to do my splattering. It's just like that. So I'll let that dry for a second as we do some cleanup. All right. And we're really getting kind of close to the end of our card. There's not going to be too much left to do. Just sort of put things into place. We'll pick out some embellishments because we're going to need that. It wasn't my plan to have embellishments, but you can never go wrong with them. So, all right, let's put our stamp set away. Put my MISTI away. There we go. And then this looks decently dry, so I think we can just jump into adhering it. Just like this. Just gonna kind of line this up to make a little bit of a brick wall. And use the edges to make sure that everything is nice and adhering. I might use a little bit of an acrylic block just to add some pressure. I think that would be wise. Some nice consistent pressure. We'll do that. And while that's setting, let me grab, what do we want to do? Those are some new embellishments. Those could be pretty. Yeah, maybe we'll use some of these. I've got some brand new glitter enamel dots that just came out earlier last week. So we'll play with those. And then let's go. Do I want to do... I don't think I want to do foam tape. I think I just want to keep this kind of flat. Because I want when this opens that she's not really raised, but that's so not like me. We'll do foam tape. We'll do foam tape. Because I can't not do foam tape. So let me grab a 3mm foam strip. I just got some more foam strips on order. I'm so excited because I use them all the time. They're such a go-to for me. Literally almost every card that I make, there's 3mm foam strips. Just kind of add this. Don't need to do too much, just a little bit. All right, so we're gonna take the backing off. And then I want to make sure that the card can still open and close. That's my primary goal, and I think that if I layer her right here, it will still do that. But it gives you the idea that she's like leaning up against the wall, and you can write a nice little note inside of it. I think that's pretty cute. So let's add a couple enamel dots, and then we're going to kind of call it a wrap. So we are definitely going to cover up that boo-boo. And then, let's see. 1, 2, maybe 3. Just do 3 just like that. I think that's pretty cute. I don't think it needs really too much else. I love this design. I know it's on the simpler side, but it was just... I get these ideas for live streams, and there are some times that an idea takes a long time for what I want to do. A lot of times I change my ideas pretty close to when a live stream will start, and I'm like, oh, that's a better idea. And my process is a little odd. But for this card last night, I was pretty certain what I wanted to do. And I'm like, I think this will be a good idea, because usually when we craft, I don't really play around with the flaps and different folds. And I was just like, you know what? This is a good opportunity to kind of go in and change that up. So I know you have a little bit less space, but I think it would just be so cute to be like another birthday, here we go again. And then like in the inside, like some sort of a fun handwritten sentiment. And you also have less space, which some people might think is a bad thing. But sometimes if you're like me and you open a card and there's like not a sentiment on the inside, do you ever feel pressure that you have to like fill up a bunch of space on the inside of the card because otherwise it looks empty? So in this instance, at least, you have like almost half the panel to work with. So you don't have to feel that sort of pressure to really like fill up the space. You could like just like if you have like larger handwriting that sort of fills, you could be like wishing you all the best, happy birthday, and then like sign your name, like love, sign your name, and it's gonna look more than good. So like keep a card layout like this in mind because you don't have to do too much with it. Now maybe it still stands up like a normal card would. I think it's great. I mean, we didn't really use that many products. You kind of created your own little scene. I think also it would be really pretty if like you kind of made this have like an ocean feel to it because like this is a seaside village. I also think that this would have been really pretty with that Moroccan tile stencil. Excuse me, because I think that we could have gone in and really blended it carefully and made it like dimensioned and stunning and still made it look like white tile. It's all up to you and what you decide to do with it. So let's go ahead. Let's just kind of recap. We used the Distress Brick stencil for our little wall. We used our Here We Go Again stamp set for our Hardworking Mama and our Another Birthday Here We Go Again sentiment. And we just used 3 different inks, 2 blending brushes, and some enamel dots that I didn't intend to use, but I had to cover up a blemish because I had a little bit of an accident, and that's okay. So I think this turned out really cute, and I think that it's a fun design to keep in mind to sort of change up what you're doing for your cards, to have fun with the different types of folds and whatnot you can do. So, all right, let's switch back over to my face because I promised everybody details about a special announcement that y'all were going to get first about our Throwback Week. So, drum roll. Throwback Week is not just about new inspiration, but it's also an opportunity for you guys to snag our throwback sets at a special offer. So, starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time, there will be 2 special offers going on the website. The first offer is going to be that we're going to have a throwback category on the website, which is going to not only include all of the sets that you've seen our design team feature this week, but it's also going to include other items in the category as well. All items in the throwback category are going to be 20% off of the listed pricing. I think it's 20% off normal pricing. I don't think anything in that category is already discounted, but you're going to be able to, for our throwback sale, snag all of our throwback products at that 20% discount. Now, the other thing that you're going to be able to get as well is that me and Audra talked, and I want to make sure to word this appropriately. All orders during our throwback sale that is $100 or more is going to receive an exclusive stamp set that has not been released on the website yet. It is brand new. If you have not seen it on the website, you have not seen any inspiration from our design team with it. There are also, I believe I can say this, I think that there are multiple stamp sets. So that means that you don't know what you're going to get, and not everyone's going to get the same thing. And I believe it's one per customer. I don't believe you can like place multiple orders and get possible different ones, but I could stand corrected on that, and I will ask Audra to clarify. I'm sure there will be a post in the group about it soon, but you all are the very first to know about it aside from our design team. Of course, they knew about it with the Throwback Week, and so that was kind of our motivation with picking the different sets that we're seeing, making sure we got lots of fresh design on them, because, of course, y'all are going to be able to snag them at a discount and then share your own fresh inspiration for it. So just like Aramin says, make sure to set those alarms for 8 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow and snag those throwback deals. And also, too, like I said, if you are interested in getting that exclusive stamp set or one of the exclusive stamp sets, $100 or more off your total purchase price after discount, those are going to qualify for them. So make sure to check that out. Don't forget the design team is going to be hopping on Instagram tomorrow as well, and we'll be giving away an opportunity to win a $25 Kindred Stamps gift certificate. We're giving 2 of them away, but the sale is going to be ending before the gift cards would be issued. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to wait to see if I win and then spend it, not going to work, but there's always going to be a future opportunity with Kindred to spend the gift card. So you know that's going to come up eventually, just being forewarning with that. thank you guys all so very much for being here tonight. I was glad that I was able to not start super late. I was worried about that because my mouse didn't get charged, and I was like, oh no, and I couldn't click my like go live button, so I'm like, well, this is going to be a problem. And luckily, like 10-15 seconds after 7 o'clock hit, or 6 o'clock hit, I was able to get everything going. So thank you all so much for being here. As we're approaching the end of August, this is my last live stream for the month. But as always, stay tuned because you will get more of me next month for September, and who knows what we'll be crafting up together. So appreciating all of you guys being here tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and we'll craft together again real soon. Goodbye.